Tariffs are back in the news as the United States government is still upset with China about its trade deficit. But before you get too worried, there are two important things you should know. One, the issue isn't as big as you think. And two, the reason is based on a lie.
Trade between the US and China totaled $660 billion in 2018. It is the world's biggest trading relationship, with the two swapping everything from computers to clothing. But while the trade figure is huge, it needs to be put into perspective.
This is $100 billion. You know it is because I've written it right there. And this is $660 billion. This represents the entire of US-China trade last year, which might sound like a lot, but when you compare it to the entire Chinese economy, of $13.4 trillion, it really puts it in perspective. In fact, China-US trade represents just 5% of the entire Chinese economy and is much less than the $1.3 trillion that the economy grew by last year.
The main reason for the tariffs is because of the US trade deficit. The US government says China sold $540 billion worth of stuff to the US last year. But that doesn't mean that China received all that money. Trade figures aren't a good way of measuring modern global manufacturing chains. In fact, it's all a bit of a con.
Take the iPhone X. It's a $1,000 smartphone that's largely assembled in factories in China. Parts for the phone are shipped from around the world from places like Now these parts count towards China's import figures. Once in China, they are put together in factories by Apple contractors. Wait, much better. Now from there, it is moved to a customs facility where it is stamped and marked for export and sold to Apple shops around the world. But if it's being sold in China, it will be stamped again and marked as an import, even though it hasn't left China. So how much actually goes to Chinese firms? Just $10. That's much less than the $600 that goes to Apple, and much less than the trade figures will tell you.
So the numbers are wrong and smaller than you think. Is there anything else you should know? Yes, from farmers to shoppers to economists, most people think that tariffs are a terrible idea.
That's all for today. Remember, for more news and analysis, buy the paper. Until next time.